2014 and up clutch basket upgrade. After doing some research, I found that these are the part numbers that you're going to need. Basically is this thrust washer, lock washer, and then the actual clutch basket. These are all from 2009 YFZ450R, and this is the clutch basket here. This is what it's going to look like. This is the 8 rivet style. So yeah, we'll see about installing this. After doing some research, like I said, this is all that's been mentioned that's needed. That's the clutch basket part number. So yeah, let's get started. So you're going to want to start off by draining the oil first. Once you've drained the oil, you're going to go ahead and take these 8mm bolts off. There should be a seal on the other face of this. Couple tips: you're going to want to start with a clean job and end with a clean job. You don't want any dirt, debris falling inside of this side of the engine. Definitely want to keep everything clean. If you can, start by washing the bike on this side. Make sure everything's kind of clean on this side. There's no dirt or anything builds up in here, because as soon as you pop this off, it's going to want to fall in there, and that's not good. So yeah, let's take these off. As you're removing these, you're going to want to kind of keep track of where they go. They have different lengths, every one of them. See, this one's shorter, longer. This one's pretty long as well. So just keep that in mind as you're pulling these off. Keep track of that. Okay, so I have all of these broken loose already. So basically, you have the longest 2 go here. These 3 are medium size compared to all the rest of them, and these are the 2 smallest over here. You're gonna also want to get one of these gaskets just to replace this old one. Also, you have these 2 pins, dowel pins, that one and that one, so don't lose track of those. All right, now that we've taken the cover off, we're going to want to take these 3 bolts off. You kind of want to be somewhat even with all of these. Make sure it comes out kind of even. So yeah, let's get that off. Okay, so I removed these off first. These come off first, and then this one lastly. These kind of make it a pain in the butt to kind of remove it if they're not taken off first. So take these out first. Then this guy slides right out. That's what that looks like. Be careful with this guy right here. Make sure you kind of push on it when you pull it out. That way all the washers and gears, or sorry, washers and bearing that's in here doesn't come out and you lose it. But that's what that's going to look like. Next, I'm going to take the clutch packs out. Carefully take all these little washers and whatnot out of there as well. And once again, just trying to stay as clean as possible. So far so good. So yeah. Okay, so removed all the clutch packs. Now there's this last little ring right here you're gonna want to take out. It has like a beveled side to it. It goes in like this, and it's a little tapered. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes in this way. Keep track of how this comes out. So then this guy comes out as one piece out of here, and then also there's a second ring in here. This one I have not been able to get out. It's kind of locked with, like, basically sucked on there. It's not coming off. Just gonna leave that in there for now, but this guy comes out one piece. Okay, so next you're gonna want to bend this tab out of the way. You're gonna need a special tool to hold this guy from moving, so that when you go ahead and spin this nut off, it holds it and keeps it from spinning. So yeah, actually, well, I made this tool in my garage. Super simple, super easy to make. You could just go and buy it, but I decided why not just make it. So it's gonna go in here. It's adjustable, so once I kind of get it sized up, it should slide right in there, right in there. It'll hold it for me to be able to take that nut off. So you're gonna want the tool to hold on to the edges like that, there and there, and you'll break it off with your ratchet. Hold this side as you ratchet it off. Should just be able to break it loose, and then you'll be able to spin it by hand. I should have probably cut this about right here or so it can rest on the foot peg, but I mean, this will work. It's not super tight, so there you go. Okay, that was pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Now the next step is to grab this guy, pull this guy off. Again, don't forget about this guy that's hanging on right here. Don't want that falling off anywhere. And then you have this guy in here that you also want to remove. But yeah, everything should just follow right out. Pull this one out, that guy out, and this one next. So here we go. Okay, so it's out. Everything looks really healthy. Again, this bike has probably 20 hours on it. Here's the infamous clutch basket. It's in pretty good shape. So I mean, doesn't look too bad, but still, you know, these are known for blowing up and causing catastrophic failure in there, and all those gears basically go bye-bye. So yeah, we'll be putting in this new 8 rivet style and not have to worry about this guy anymore. Okay, so before installing this guy, a couple of things you might want to know is you're gonna have to grease or put some oil on these bearings before you install it. And then secondly, that gear right there, this guy, needs to mesh up with that one. You need to be very careful when installing it. Make sure this goes in all the way. It's going to take you a couple of tries. You need to spin that guy, you know, maybe like a tooth or half a tooth every so often to try to get this one set in. Make sure this goes flush all the way back. If it does not go flush, you do have the possibility, or actually you will, ruin that gear, possibly ruin this guy, ruin a lot of parts in there, and that's what we're trying to avoid here. So again, very meticulous, very careful, very clean, I guess. Sorry, again, I stress about being very clean when doing this job. You don't want any kind of, you know, debris or anything going in there. So yeah, so I got pretty lucky. I think it was like 3 tries and it was in. But just for you guys, go ahead, pull this guy back out. That's not in yet, obviously. Pull it out. Not in. That's all the way in. See how it's flush with this face back here? This guy to this guy, it needs to be flush. If it's out like this, you're not in yet. Pull this guy out, rotate it. That right there is not in yet. As you can tell, not flush with that inner piece with this guy. So it's going to take you a couple times. Pull it out, maybe rotate it just a hair, you know, try to get it in, set. Trying to do this one-handed. It's not going pretty well. Pull it back out, and then this guy, just a pinch right there, and try again. Try to get this guy to go in straight. Play with it a little bit. Nope. Not in yet. But that's going to be the process. Just, you know, continue trial and error. Rotate this guy just a little bit. Oh, there it is. There it is. Popped all the way through. Flush, flush. And now we can start putting all the rest of the stuff back on. Here we go. So next item on the check-off list is this thrust washer. This guy needs to be the one going in. This is the one being replaced. I'll have to measure it to see what the actual difference is. It looks damn near the same, but you know, this is what they called for. They said replace this guy with it, so that's where we're going to be putting in. So just information only. I did mic them. They are exactly the same as far as thickness. This guy sits in here, rides on these guys, and this face right here. So that's why they tell you to put the bigger one on. So the old style sits in there. It's kind of where it lives. See how it doesn't have any of the spots to ride on, versus this guy, when it goes in, it rides on those little pads right there, there, and there, and also on the actual face of this piece here. Just information only, because I was wondering myself, like, it's the same thickness, and why replace it? But that's what it's for. It does free spin, by the way. It doesn't kind of latch onto anything. It's just a spacer. So now we've installed the hub back on. Don't forget about that guy. With the new lock washer, this lock washer actually has 2 indents to serve a purpose. Hold on to that guy and that guy there. Goes on like this, and that's home. Then we'll just install this guy, and that should be it. Again, information only. The way this guy came out is these little slits in it were facing, or not facing, but furthest out. So it was in this way. I don't think it really matters, but the way we pulled it off is the way we're putting it back on. So now that's all snug. We're going to torque this to 54 foot-pounds. After that, we're going to bend these tabs down and just lock it all in place. So I held it, let it kind of ride on that foot peg bolt, and then just torqued it 54 foot-pounds. Good to go. Now I'm going to bend those tabs. And, yep. Just another tip, I ended up setting it, torquing it, getting it all done. I didn't like the position that the washer was to the nut. It kind of was off a little bit, where you couldn't bend the tab completely over. This lock washer is reversible. So what I did is I spun it off, took it, grabbed it, and spun it when I reinstalled it. I'm gonna go ahead and try to torque it again, see if they line up a little bit better, and bend the tabs. So spun it, looks a little bit better. The way I did this was, there's probably a couple ways that you can do this, but this is the way I did it. Went ahead and grabbed these pliers, went from the outside of the nut, this side, and just carefully kind of bent the ear over, made sure it was pulled it over all the way. You could do both, doesn't really matter. Okay, so all the clutches are in, and discs. This last set though, this ring actually goes on this face here. So just very carefully try to put this on, get it kind of straight, dial it in, line up the holes, should be good to go. Just one thing I forgot to mention, before you install this pressure plate, springs plate, and then the pressure plate, before you install all that, don't forget this push rod in here. It's that little stack of what looks like is a stack of washers. Install that first, then your pressure plate, then your springs, then this plate, and then you torque everything down. So yeah. So next is torque these 5.8. The cover is going to be at 7.2 foot-pounds.